Hello, good evening. Thank you for joining me again. Well, it's been an interesting day in the greenhouse today. My greenhouse, as some of you know, especially if you were with me on the live stream during the spring and summer, is an old one and quite a scruffy one, although it is very lovely and I'm very fond of it. As I mentioned yesterday, my other half has been installing my Christmas watering system into the greenhouse. And as he's been working in the greenhouse, he has done some more detailed looking around than he usually does, because the greenhouse is not somewhere that he normally hangs out very much, and that's fine. So the looking began with questioning the reasons for the plastic that's lining some of the windows, which was done long before my time of taking the greenhouse over, and wondering whether it might actually be better for the wood if the plastic were not there. That led to a detailed inspection of some of the outside. That in turn led to the removal of some of the plastic inside, which led to the falling out of some of the glass and the realization that a few bits of wood were not in the right place, the addition of some clamps, the scrubbing of some glass, the removal of some very old putty, the discovery of some extremely rotten bits of wood, and then the beginning of the rain, which resulted in a piece of tarpaulin being put over a quarter of the greenhouse, and my other half returning to his computer in order to do a bit of research and planning. Now, I am greatly blessed in having an other half who is extremely practical, and I have the greatest of faith that my greenhouse will at some point in the not too distant future be both usable and in better condition than it is at the moment, despite the fact that right now it is definitely at that stage where things get worse before they get better. Now, I think I could use this experience today as a metaphor for lots of things. The news this evening suggests that things might be going to get worse before they get better. Although for us in Dorset, the difference between tier 3, where we will be tomorrow, and tier 2, where we are today, is not particularly dramatic. I could use this as a metaphor for the spiritual life. I'm guessing that this works whatever your spirituality is, that no matter how far along the journey you get or how deep you dig, there is always more, there's always further to go and more to do. But actually, I'm going to be a bit more practical than that, because by the end of today, when the darkness finally made us come inside, I had helped to fit clamps to the roof of the greenhouse. I had scrubbed green gunk off lots of bits of glass, some of which were still attached to the greenhouse and some of which were not, but will be again soon, I hope. I had scraped old putty off window frames. I had put broken glass into a bucket. I had cleaned age-old green gunk off some remarkably unrotten wood. And also in some time out of the greenhouse, I had forked several barrow loads of garden compost onto an empty veg bed. And I had also dug up my first ever homegrown leek to eat for lunch. It was all very satisfying and surprisingly creative. And it did remind me, you see, I, as a Christian, believe that we are creative because God is creative and he made us to be like him. And my experience tells me that when your mind is buzzing with thoughts about levels of lockdown and whether the schools will go back or not, and how much difference it all makes to you anyway, a bit of practical creativity is a great way of refocusing and slowing down your thoughts. Now, I do know that not everybody has an ancient greenhouse that they can play with. But if, like me, you sometimes get into a place of just needing your mind to slow down a bit, maybe a bit of physical and creative something just might be a God-given place to go, whatever that might look like for you. So, as ever, I'm going to finish with a prayer. And if you'd like to leave an amen or a comment underneath, then please do. I love hearing from the people who are joining me on this live stream. Creator God, thank you that because you made us to be like you, we are able to imagine and create in all sorts of ways. Help us to use those gifts to connect with you and to be kind to ourselves. Amen. Thank you for joining me. See you again tomorrow, I hope. Bye for now.